Hey, what's up guys? Troy Mares here. Welcome to our set. I'm going to give you guys just a little BTS as to what's going on and give you guys a tour as to how we decided where we wanted to shoot, how we dialed in our lighting, the gear that we're using. I am pumped to have you here as always. We got Josh behind the camera. So let's hash it out. Let's talk about it. Should I put on a lav mic? I think, as I start walking away, is that going to suck? Should put on I think that sticky from yesterday still works. I'm just gonna just clamp it. You should. Perfect. All right, we're gonna try this again. Let me know when you're rolling. All right. Couple sync claps for you. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to our studio set today. My name's Troy Mares. I am pumped to have you here, as always. Very kind of impromptu BTS situation. Give you guys a feel for how we decided where to set up our cameras, how we dialed in our lighting and exposure, sound, what gear we're using today. Josh behind the camera. So yeah, let's check it out. The first thing we had to do once we got into this space was figure out where we wanted to shoot. We're shooting for a construction product company, so we wanted this real kind of industrial, rugged vibe going on. Obviously, one of the first considerations when in a space like this is going to be these giant windows. They are great, but they're also, it's a double-edged sword, right? You get great natural light coming in, but one of the problems we had yesterday on our shoot was the changing lighting outside changed our exposures inside. So the first thing that we did when we got in here was figure out how we wanted to combat these windows. And we did that. We pulled up our Sunseeker app to figure out where the sun was going to be coming in through the windows at. And we learned that for the most part, it's going to be traveling just above these giant windows on this side. Knowing that the sun was going to be streaming through these windows, we decided to set up our A-cam facing this bank of windows. And the reason being, there wasn't ever going to be sunlight coming in directly through those lights, so we might have a better chance at actually holding exposure on those lights and to keep levels appropriate on the inside to match the outside. Then we were gonna use this bank of windows just off camera frame over here to camera left, my right, as one element of a key light. We were gonna use that as motivation for our actual key light that we have up here, the Aputure 600D. So first thing we did, we figured out which direction to shoot, dialed in our composition, knowing that this was gonna be our key light area. To answer the question of do you do composition or lighting first, Josh and I, we've debated this often and we don't have a good answer. Maybe you guys do. Let us know down in the comments below which one you like to use, which one you decide on first. I think they have to go in tandem. I don't think you can really have a steadfast rule as to which one prioritizes the other, but it's open for debate. That said, yeah, so we dialed in our A-cam, and then we started doing a little bit of set decoration that was a functional living room back there that we made to look a little bit more like a active construction zone, dropped in some lumber and some texture. I like to use texture is a common phrase that I'm using that Josh is making fun of me for. Anyhow, got the A-cam set up. Let's take a quick tour of the A-cam so you can see what's going on here. Today we're using the Sony FX3 as the body, and that is outfitted with the 35mm G Master Prime lens. Specifically went for this one because we were going to be recording for a long time. We didn't want overheating to be an issue, as well as we were going to have XLR audio coming in. So we're going to use the top handle here. We are running two sources of audio. We have a Sennheiser 416 that's going to be boomed over our talent. That is going to be our primary source of audio, but it's very much worth always having two sources of audio. So we're also running a lavalier mic on our talent via the Tentacle Track E, the one that I'm actually wearing right now. And then we have syncies attached to both of our A and B cams so we can have timecode sync to get these cameras matched up as well as the audio. What else we got going on here? In front of the 35mm GM, we are using some of the new Polar Pro Helix variable ND, Peter McKinnon editions. It's a split vote here. I quite enjoy them. Josh does not. He's having a tough time getting the caps on and off, and rightfully so. The magnets are pretty strong, so I'll give him that. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but I'm enjoying them. We needed some ND here so that we could actually hold some information in that back window, and that's our A-cam setup for the most part. Then we're running a external monitor. We have the Hollyland Mars M1 monitor going. I've really enjoyed these. These have the built-in transmitters. We got one on top of each one of those. Generally, I'll have a director's monitor here as well, but we were carrying a lot of equipment up and downstairs, so the director's monitor didn't make the cut today, so we are just rocking these. We'll check out a B-cam quick. We are using the Sony A7IV over here. We have got an 85mm GM prime on there as well, and then you're gonna see the Polar Pro Helix ND filters up top. This one also is sporting the M1 monitor, and we've got a Sync here as well. This one's on a Peak Design tripod setup. But yeah, that's A and B cam. Our audio source boom pole came, I should forget where the boom pole came from. Carbon fiber boom pole running to the Sennheiser 416 for audio, and then I've got the Sanken COS 11D running into a Track E as our backup audio source, which means I think the last thing to really get into is our lighting setup here. The first thing that we had to do when it came to lighting was get the appropriate exposure. I'm going to cut to a B-roll shot here of our A-cam so you can kind of get a feel for what I'm talking about visually. So the first thing that we needed to do with our camera was expose for what we can't control. And what we don't have control of here is the light coming in from outside. So here you're seeing it exposed for the interior, and then we're going to expose for the windows, and you're going to see just how dark it gets in here without any supplemental lighting.
All right, so Troy just dropped the ND on, which we could have stopped down, but we're anticipating the sun to come out this afternoon, so that gives us flexibility to go ahead and throw on 2 or 4 stops.
So now that we know we need to supplement our lighting, we're going to motivate our source of light, this bank of windows, via the Aputure 600D with the 120 soft dome on it today. I like to use my false color indicator on these Hollyland monitors to do so. When it comes to getting appropriate lighting ratios, you want to just hold it on there. I'm gonna step in frame here so you can get a skin tone reference. We can see that the light coming in from the window is hitting right up about that yellow to orange color on the false color indicator. I'm looking to get my skin to be lit roughly into like the green to pink ratio. That falls in at about a 70 IRE in comparison to like the 80 to 90 coming in from the window. Just because I think that makes the most sense as far as you see the light coming in from the window. I don't want to be brighter than the light is coming in from the window because that just wouldn't feel natural anymore. So that's kind of my rationale behind the lighting ratio as far as my key light goes here, is getting my skin tones to fall, at least my skin tones being really pretty pale and white, coming in right around that 60 to 70 IRE on the highlighted side. And for this shoot, we're getting enough ambient fill coming in off these back walls that I didn't need to modify or bounce any light coming back in on the other side. I liked the ratios that were coming in there. So that's our key light. Then you're also going to notice a little bit of a rim light coming in over here. We're motivating that rim light based on the idea of being able to see this window in the background. It kind of makes sense that with that window in the background, you might get some light coming back in from this direction. So let's bring it over here. Over here we have our rim light. It's an Aputure 60X set to just a normal daylight balance here. This is nice because it's got a Fresnel that's going to focus that light and just give us a little bit of light coming in on my shoulder, on the talent shoulder to separate them from the background a little bit. And again, it feels like it's motivated from that window that we have in frame. Then we just have one other light that we rigged up into our rafters here, and this is an Amaran 100D. We felt that this section was a little bit dark, so we really kind of just tossed that light up there to see what it was going to do. We didn't have an idea for it, but once we got it up there, we realized that we really kind of liked the way that it brought a little bit of shape to this environment back here, and gave us some nice contrast as far as having lights and darks in our backgrounds to give us a little bit more visual interest. See here, this side slink isn't working. Oh yeah.
One thing to pay attention to is you notice Troy walked by, the whole floor moved and the tripod moved. So if you're shooting on set, take note of that.
I don't know, Josh, am I missing anything?
I think just trial and error, moving stuff around, seeing what works, checking the frame, putting a ladder in, taking a ladder out, putting a box in. That wood was added.
Here you go. I'm pretty sure that was recorded. So that's Josh's take. A little bit of trial and error. Just try something. It doesn't have to work. You also don't have to know what it is that you're doing. Just try something and see how it shakes out. All right, there you guys have it. Thanks for tagging along with us today. Hopefully this is a little bit helpful to see how I operate. I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's just the way I do it. So hopefully that gives some inspiration. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Happy shooting out there. See you in the next vid.